All right, we're live. Sorry, we were having a great chat. Great chat over here. We got Bafana Holmesy. We got Millie, local, living it live, of course. But what a plonker! I didn't press the go live button. Well. But we're here anyway. We're still here. We're angry. We're not angry. We're pleasantly in a good mood. So let's start from the tip of the top. Here is Holmesy. How the hell are you doing, Holmesy? I haven't seen you forever. How are you doing? What's it like in South Africa now? Of course, African Cup of Nations is just about over. I think it's going to be over today. But your boys were in action yesterday.
Yeah, picked up the bronze medal, not bad. Don't think we had given them much hope going into the tournament, but as they got through and as they went through, I think everyone sort of got into the spirit of African Cup of Nations. So we were happy with the bronze medal. That's better than we've done since 1996 when we last won it.
Incredible stuff. And yes, Millie just dumped a thing in the chat saying, I am not the guy who did press submit and save. I'm not the guy. I can feel the pain now, so maybe his head shouldn't roll. But it's an easy mistake. It's an easy mistake to make. This changed color now. Now I know that I'm live. But it is an easy mistake, people. So just not. So Millie, you're there. I think you dropped a comment yesterday when you heard a big roar and you were like, what's going on? How was the atmosphere in the area from yesterday's victory?
So obviously I'm from Blackburn. I can tell people who are watching that I grew up back at stadium, but obviously I can't say how far away from stadium that I actually am now. But I did actually hear it sounded like Rovers scored. And then I'm looking on live updates and there were nothing. So I was like, hold on a second, something's happened. Whether or not someone's stormed the pitch or if someone's done something, I don't know. So that's why I put it in the group chat. And then obviously you said about the penalty.
It was a good game yesterday. Of course, we've already talked about this, but we'll just gloss over it a little bit here. 3-1 victory against the Stoke side that are in a bit of trouble at the moment. And if the result would have went the other way, which it tends to do against Stoke, we would be the ones in a bit of trouble. And the outlook wouldn't be as good as it does at the moment. So, Holmesy, from your point of view, yesterday's game. Start of a new era. Some are saying. What is your vibe with Rovers right now, presently on the pitch? We're talking on the pitch.
Well, there's certainly a much needed win, Dirk. We needed that one. On the verge. Don't get me wrong. We're in a relegation battle. Make no mistake about that. But if we had lost yesterday, we would have been brought right back into it. So it was a big performance from the guys. I think what we're going to see, hopefully moving forward, is a bit of good old English football, a bit of hoofball, get the ball up to front as quickly as possible. But it's been so long since we felt that elation of winning. So let's not take it away from ourselves. Yes, Stoke probably aren't the hardest team that we're going to play this year. But as the old English saying goes, can you do it on a cold winter's evening in Stoke? So,
exactly.
Yes, it was in Blackburn, but we still had to beat Stoke.
Definitely. It would have been a much different game had that penalty gone through 3-1 down or 3-1 up at that point. If that had gone in 3-2. Do you think maybe Millie as well, if she's there, she's kind of like hidden away from me at the moment. But do you think we would have held on 3-2 with 3-2 up? Do you think with that penalty gone in to make it 3-2, do you think we would have been celebrating at the end, or do you think the old Rovers would have reared its ugly head?
Yeah, Dirk. I mean, it would have certainly been a nervous time for the supporters. We've been there so often where we've had that lead and let it go in the past. I think back to the end of last season where we had those, we were 1-0 up, I think 2 of the last 3 games of the season last year, where we let those late goals in. We're always jittery when we've got that 1-goal lead. So you hope that old habits die hard. So I think it would have been a tough tough into the game, had that penalty gone in, and it's about time we had a bit of luck. And Piers making that save was fantastic for us and gave us a little boost to hold on, and I think took a bit of wind out of their sails.
Yeah, I was listening on to the Rovers commentary team about that, and they were trying to recall the last time a penalty was saved by a Rovers goalkeeper, and they were scrambling trying to figure out that was. I don't know the answer. I think I didn't toot. I was kind of switched off at that point. But yeah, as soon as that penalty was given, I thought, here we go again, same old stuff, same old shenanigans. But let's bring him in, the focal point once again. JDT, no more. And I talked to somebody, maybe it was on Twitter or something, about the fact that he's got himself a new job already, going to be the Swedish national coach, which I think kind of softens the blow for me. I didn't want to see him in the championship with another team so soon, kind of like an ex-girlfriend, really. You don't really want to see them hanging around, in the neighborhood. So it's kind of a good transition for him. He'll remain in the spotlight. Has got I think his popularity in Sweden remains from the Malmo days. So hopefully he can get some success out of that. But how much, or again from the highlights or from whatever you saw, how different did you think Rovers played yesterday compared to what we've been used to under the Dane here?
Yeah. Well, I suppose less ticky-tacky, less trying to pass the ball around, the defense. It was a lot more direct, which is what we need. Probably don't have the skill or the ability, no offense to the players that we've got, but we don't possess the skills of the Barcelonas or the Man Cities that has the ability to pass the ball around from the back through and open up those gaps for the up front and unlock a defense. We need a more direct style of play, try and get the quick players behind the back four there. We do know Galley's got a bit of pace. Dolan's got a bit of pace. Smodic can run onto it. So a lot more direct, getting the balls into the box, creating a bit of pressure that way. And I think I saw a stat, against QPR, we had 695 passes compared to 290 passes that we had yesterday. So a lot more direct, a lot more impactful play rather than let's tap the ball around here. Let's try and pass the ball around the defense. So I think more meaningful, more impactful, more focused football on trying to get the ball into the back of the net.
Yeah, and how much do you think this guy's played already? We were comfortably in front 3-1 at half-time. Penalty happened, and of course, fortunately, was saved. And then, because Damian Johnson, David Lowe was supposed to be in charge of this match, but here he comes out of the woodwork, already. Some say trying to take the glory for the victory. Some, on Twitter saying that, he could have just let bygones be bygones and let it be. But on the flip side, did he come down and save the day? Was his leadership from the touchlines something that kind of brought the Rovers defensive core to the front? Holmesy.
Yeah, listen, I think he's the leader. He's going to be the face of Blackburn Rovers moving forward. He's our manager. He's our coach. He's been appointed to. I think he had every right to get up, get there, be seen, be part of the team, get involved. It's what we want from a leader. We've had possibly JDT and Tony Mowbray sitting back on the couch when things are going wrong, and the supporter base has been out there saying, why aren't they off their feet? Why aren't they trying to galvanize the players? And certainly he probably, and he definitely doesn't know the players intimately yet. He doesn't know their skill, their position, what makes them tick, how best to use them. And I think that's where Lowe and Johnson came through, and Damien Johnson's been phenomenal. He's come through from the under-21s all the way through. He's been in all the setup. He knows the players really well. Same David Lowe. So I think, yes, they were there and they can take the plaudits. I did see an interview with Damien Johnson, I think, yesterday. But, it's a win. You need to have your leaders there. He's going to be part of it moving forward. Certainly he needs to celebrate in this win, take a bit of goodwill that comes from it, try and form that bond with the players. And I'm glad he was there. I'm glad he was out there cheering on, trying to get a bit of impetus, galvanize the players, get them going. I don't think it was certainly not taking away from the job that Lowe and Johnson did yesterday. So, yeah, if he's passionate, he's happy, he wants to win, all the better for Blackburn.
Indeed, and I think I did catch. I've not caught all the media from yesterday. I did see Damien Johnson did an interview. So did John Eustace. So did some of the players like Kevin Gallagher and all that. And I would like to. I don't know what they said. But I caught a glimpse of John Eustace, and I think he said, credit to the staff that prepped the team. So. But yeah, it was good, and I caught that as the game was going on. I saw, hang on a minute, he's not supposed to be in charge here till Monday. And he's down there barking orders, and it's good to see that he's not gonna, because I thought we played really well, and I thought he would like to get off on the right foot, but really officially he'll start his next game, and we'll talk about that in his next game in a minute. But let's bring up. Of course, did I already flash the picture? There he is, of course. Let's take a look at the table right now for us. Millie, if you're there, of course. I can't see you at the moment. But quickly at the table has us, I believe, in 17th spot right now. And, of course, within 3 points of getting 15th. We do have a game in hand on a bunch of the teams in and around us. But they are closing in. These guys down here, QPR, they were not victorious yesterday. I think they got something yesterday. What did I see? Sheffield Wednesday. Okay, so yeah, you're right. You're a draw against Norwich. Of course, Sheffield Wednesday picked up a win. They're closing in as well. Huddersfield were a little bit hard done by Stoke. In a bit of trouble. 4 defeats on the smack there. Birmingham as well. The team that we're going to be taking on next, laced with so much that match. And of course, Millwall, who are in action right now. And of course, we'll try and, if anybody's in the chat, give us an update on that scoreline. Not where we wanted to be at the start of the campaign, with the new regime. And I don't want to get too excited about the new change of manager, but I'm hoping to see a new manager bounce that can propel us towards at least the middle of the table. But what is the limit? What's the ceiling of our season under Eustace? This season?
Listen, I think from where we're coming from at the moment, Dirk, you don't want to get too overconfident. Yeah, the thing with the championship, there's the gap. I mean, you look at 6th place, 47 points, Sunderland, that's 11 points above us with a game in hand. So say we win a game on them, so that's 39 to 47. That gap, it's such a squash in between from say 6th to possibly 22nd, and where we're sitting, our season can go one of two ways. We lose a couple of games and we're right there in the relegation scrap. You win a couple of games and you're right there pushing for playoffs. It's such a close league. And I think if we get a new manager boost, and we get three or four wins out of the next 6, we'll be right up there with the probably 9th, 10th, 11th. So pushing up closer to that point of part. And then you're right on the brink of maybe a late season push for promotion. But the other side of the coin is our problems of certainly not behind us. We still have massive problems at Blackburn Rovers. This is still the same set of players that have picked up very few points in the last 11 matches. A manager can give a small short-term boost, but it's not going to fix all the problems. So I do think there's a lot of problems there at Blackburn that needs to be fixed behind the scenes. I do think we've got a great set of players. I think a couple of more additions in January, could have certainly given us a bit of breathing room, just given us a bit of more fat to the squad. But yeah, I think I'd be happy if we finish top half of the table for the end of the season, especially with the last, say, 3 months that we've had. I think but again, it's crazy to think that with how close it is between 6th and where we are, 3 wins could push us back into a slight chance of contention.
Yeah. And And this week, Millie, of course, with a new manager, often, it's not always the case, but hopefully there is a new manager bounce, and we've got 2 monster games ahead. Birmingham Tuesday typically doesn't really have that monster vibe about it, but it's loaded with so much going on. Mowbray in the dugout over there, Eustace, formerly Birmingham manager over here. That's coming up. And then, of course, the spicy one, Saturday, Preston at there. I think it's at Deepdale. So, if we can string 3 wins together, now would be a perfect time, because Eustace has got a score to settle with Birmingham, try to prove those owners wrong, how they got rid of him. And then we've got a derby scenario where JDT often didn't really deliver when we so needed it. So for Millie, what do you think? Of course, currently, where are we? We're 17th. What out of the next 2 games is more important for you as a local lass in the area? Beating Tony Mowbray Tuesday, or getting one over those knobbers down the road?
Bit of everything, really, because obviously, like you said, he's just come fresh out of Birmingham not long ago. So obviously he'll want to prove them wrong, but then Mowbray will want to prove us wrong. So I think out of the 2 games that are upcoming, that Tuesday is going to be the heated one, even though obviously Saturday we're playing against Preston North End. But obviously with Preston North End being Preston North End, half an hour away from Rovers and whatever else, we do need to try and win as many games as possible, because we're 17th place in 36 points. Leicester are first with 75 points. So there's a massive difference in the points. And then obviously if you look at the form for Rovers is lose, draw, lose, win. And that win's just come out of John Eustace / Damian Johnson and David Lowe.
Exactly. Well put there. And Holmesy, what about you? Of course, of course, I think, for me, it'd be good for Eustace to get one over his old guard there. But I spoke to a couple of other fans yesterday. When was the last time we did Preston over? They might, on paper right now they're doing all right. Preston, I think, where are they? They're right up there in 9th, and going against the grain. Typically, they're worse off than we are. But season in, season out, I think I only recall one season under Mowbray where we got a good win against them. It's been a while since we've really delivered, and of course, I would be hoping that Eustace and I think if he can get a big win or a win at Deepdale, how much will that go to his new core fans? Talk about cult hero. If he can get a win against Birmingham, against his old boss, and then a big win against Preston. I know they're not Burnley, but still, how much will that go to cementing himself as a bit of a cult hero already in such a short time?
Yeah, for me at this moment, I think we should be focusing on one game at a time. Certainly Birmingham, the 3 points, there's everything else that is happening with it, with Mowbray, Eustace, former Birmingham. But I do think our focus is on the win. Focus is getting as many points as possible. Try and get that win, have that momentum. And then, Preston, you mentioned it. They've been sort of like a bogey team to us over the last certainly 4 or 5 years. We just don't seem to be able to get the results against them. So, yes, probably a bit too early to be calling him a cult hero, even if he does pick up these 2 wins. But confidence-wise, it will do massive amounts for the confidence of the players, of the staff, but also for the fans. Just confidence for the fans, bring a bit of joy to their heart. So, yeah, I think, but still, one game at a time. I wouldn't even be looking at Preston now. I'm just focusing on Birmingham, doing what we need to beat Birmingham, get those 3 points, hopefully, and then take that momentum through to the weekend.
Exactly. Yes. I'm also not trying to get the cart in front of the horse, trying to get a bit excited about it all. But this one's special though. The Birmingham game midweek. How much influence can he have on the team? How much different will they play Tuesday to what they played yesterday, and of course what they played last week against QPR? Will there be much change? Realistically, you look at that performance. I thought we were good against Stoke. McFadzean come in there, a bit of a veteran, old legs. Hopefully, he's still got a little bit in the tank to play Tuesday, because I thought he was a big boss man at the back. Might not wear the captain's armband, but I thought he delivered a captain's performance at the back. Hedges, great to have him back. How important he could be in dragging us up there as well. And the fact Tyree Stolen's got himself a couple of goals, couple of backflips. Hopefully he doesn't do his ankle the next time, because they're dodgy. Back in my backflipping days, which never existed. But out of all those key personnel that either made their debut or returned to the team, who do you think is going to have a bigger influence on Tuesday? Millie, who do you think is going to be the key man for us to try and deny Tony Mowbray a victory over his old boss and get Eustace a big victory over his old boss?
So obviously, we've got to say who we think is going to be in the team, and quite likely it's going to be usually the ones that play week in, week out, wherever we play, if that's at home or if that's away. So obviously we've got the likes of Tyree Stolen, we've got the likes of Sammy Smodics, we've got the likes of Sam Gallagher, but then you've got to look at the new ones that they've just brought in. So the 21-year-old from Liverpool, for example, he was meant to be really good. Apparently when he came from Liverpool, he'd scored either in Liverpool's first team or Liverpool's under 23s or whatnot from the halfway line. So, I mean, obviously, that's in the Premier League if it is the first team. And to be fair, we could do with stuff like that after the last 2 months. We could do with anything, really. And then, obviously, we've got John Fleck, we've got that guy from Coventry. We've got a couple of new, young guns coming up from the academy doing first teams there and then. So obviously it all depends, really, because technically speaking, we've never been under John Eustace, because yesterday it was under Damien Johnson and David Law. So obviously we've never been under him. He, as far as I know, has never had a first team job. He's only ever been assistant. So it's all to play for, really.
Indeed. You're spot on with regards to the game yesterday. Of course, yeah, and that's what I was expecting to hear. Is I think Chris Sutton put a tweet out. He said, or somebody put a tweet out saying, if Rovers lose or draw, it's the game under Damien Johnson. The John Eustace era starts Tuesday. But if John Eustace or Rovers win, it's John Eustace claims the first victory. So, but you are right, and I thought about this long and hard yesterday, on my long walk or what have you. I was thinking, it wasn't a John Eustace victory. Come on, a bloody 20 minutes or 30 minutes to go and just kind of bark some orders. And I don't want to discredit him already or anything like that, but that victory is not his. I in my mind, and hopefully the Rovers fans, and it's about a lot of spin by Rovers social media teams, other social media or media outlets saying Eustace era kicks off to a win. He wasn't supposed to be in charge. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy that he came on and barked some orders and kind of maybe got their minds back on the game. But it wasn't his victory. So, let's give DJ the credit where credit's due. And I like that. I like that me and Holmesy are of a certain age and a certain era where we had Tony Parks, we had Gary Bowyer in the background, to when crap hits the fan and we need somebody, not an assistant manager, but somebody, I think, Parks was an assistant manager, but just somebody to be in the background like a Damien Johnson for scenarios like this, to take over a game here, there, and everywhere, and build I'm using it a lot here, a cult status behind the scenes. So let's give it him. This game here against him right here, Mowbray, the Toblerone eating, hobnob dunking head coach of the past. This is game one in the Eustace era, and it's going to be massive. Let's we had a look at the table, but of course, I want to look at the next few games. We talked a little bit about Birmingham. We talked a little bit about Preston, but on the horizon, 5 massive games remain in February. Unfortunately, of course, it'll end with a Newcastle game where it would have been what's the word? Romantic. Would have been romantic for JDT to be the manager for that match. Of course, against his old playing club, a club that he kind of failed at. He failed at Newcastle. Of course, he came with such expectation after a Euros, which I think the Danes. I don't know if he was involved in the one that won it, 92. I think he arrived 96. I think anyway, regardless, he came. He didn't do brilliant. But then, of course, went on to do great things around the world or around Europe anyway. So ending the month of February with a Newcastle match. But, and I do drop this question a lot. 4 games, how many points? Holmesy first. I'll read it out just in case you can't see it. We've got Birmingham away, Preston away, Cardiff away, 3 away matches, then Norwich at home. Those are the 4 league games. How many points do you think we'll get out of that?
I reckon we're getting 7, Dirk. I think we're going to take Birmingham. We're going to get a point at Preston, beat Cardiff, and Norwich is always a tough one. Possibly a point at Norwich. We are at home there. So 7 or 8 is my guess there.
7 or 8. Millie, higher or lower?
By looks of it, I think we'll end up winning Birmingham, whether that be 1-0 or 2. I don't think it'll be 3. But with the way that Birmingham are at the minute, obviously under Tony Mowbray, I mean, it's a different play for wherever you go. So I do think we'll bag the 3 points there. Preston will be a toughie because it obviously always is. So I think we might get 1. So that's 3, 4. Cardiff have just beat Preston yesterday. Cardiff are, I believe, in the lower half of the table. So, I mean, it's the choice of the league, really. I think we might manage 1 point off them as well. So that's 3, 4, 5. Norwich at home always is and always probably will be a hard one because Norwich have more recent than us, been in the Premier League. So I think, again, I'm hoping anyway we might get at least 1, but I'm not hoping for a win against them, if I'm quite honest. And then, obviously, the FA Cup with Newcastle. Newcastle being, top 10 they're in. So I don't think Newcastle will play the likes of the first team players, if I'm quite honest. It'll probably just be a youth day out for them. But it'll be our first team players against that. And obviously, I know you don't get points from FA Cup, but I'm hoping that we do actually manage to get through.
Don't we all? So I lost count. How many points do you think you get out of that 4?
3, 4, 5, 6.
6. All right. So Holmesy says 7/8. You said 6. I'm gonna throw it. I think the Birmingham game. I know. Off the back of a good win ourselves there on a bit of a slump. I don't know. I think that might end up being a draw. I think it might be too soon for that. I think we'll beat Preston. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for 4 points. So that'll be 4 points. Cardiff, I think we might get a draw as well. So what's that? 5. Yeah, I'll go in the middle. I'll go somehow make a 7 points. So you're 6. Holmesy, I'm going to push you to 8, and I'll take you 7. So we have all have a little bit of difference. But Millie glossed on it earlier as well about the Newcastle game. Do we have any hope, really, Holmesy, in that game?
It's the FA Cup, Dirk. Anything's possible in the FA Cup. That's the romance of the FA Cup. Yeah, I agree with Millie a little bit there. I do think that Newcastle will probably have a bit of, reserve players playing in there, guys who don't get a lot of game time, but they're still a quality outfit. They've got a lot of money, a lot of backing. Don't get me wrong; it'll be a tough match, and there'll be some good quality on the field that they put out against us. But yeah, we've got hope. We go in there, sneak 1 or 2 goals, and put in a strong defensive display. I mean, I think back to Leicester last year. Leicester were in a worse position than Newcastle, but still a Premier League club with a lot of quality. So we can do it. We can sneak a win. But the way I look at it with these FA Cup games against a Newcastle, there's no pressure. You go in there without massive amounts of expectation. It's a nice to have. You win it, you come home happy. You're in the next round of the FA Cup, a couple of million richer. You lose it, well, you played a Premier League club. You got some good ticket sales there from hosting a Newcastle. Great experience for your players to play against that quality of player. So for me, there's no really a losing situation because you expect the worst from it already. So yeah, there's hope because there's hope in every game. But listen, I'm not going to be crying about it for weeks on end if we do happen to lose.
Yeah, it's a free hit. It's a free hit for Rovers.
Absolutely.
If we get it, success, we'll be laughing, we'll be happy, we'll have a headache. We lose, we'll be like, whatever. We had it. We gave it our best shot. We lasted longer than Burnley. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then sorry.
Less games for our players. To have to go around.
And also we can. While we're. I think actually, it's going to be a midweek game. That's a little bit frustrating. If it was a game on the weekend, that we're playing the FA Cup, that some championship teams will be playing, and of course the scenario or the muddy waters of the championship table will be a little bit clearer, and then of course we'll have games in hand further down the road. But I believe it's going to be midweek game, which is frustrating while everyone else is relaxing for a whole week. We have got the demands of another game. So, but anyway. Yeah. Of course, let's kind of wrap this sucker up. I do appreciate you guys' time on a Sunday, and again, an extended time because we did throw away 10. Well, I threw away 10 minutes, but or whatever it was. But let's not, and we didn't really talk about it too much because it's been talked about a little bit already this past few days. But good win, new appointment, swift appointment, which some people say, the conspiracy theorists say, was been worked on earlier in the week to get Eustace in. But good win, swift appointment, good win. But let's not forget the root of the problem. The problems are still there. Their problems are not going to go away. And we do still need some clarity with Greg. I've seen some LinkedIn posts from Greg referencing in the current tense, our club said goodbye to our manager. So that leads me to the indication that he's still in a position at Rovers. Maybe that position is going to be reviewed at the summer or what. But there's been no official statement that his head has rolled for the transfer scenario. So that's not. But my point, I don't want to bury the lead here. Let's not forget about the chaos. Stuff needs to be said, communicated to the fans, etc., etc. Closing comments, Millie first. Well, to wrap up this week, madness, big result, crazy, a busy week up ahead. What's your takeaways?
Obviously, it is really a busy week because we've got 2-1. But in terms of that meeting that went viral on Twitter, so obviously, by looks of it, people have been taking screenshots of just the players and their reactions, and they didn't look right positive, if I'm quite honest. So obviously we don't know what was said because on that CCTV video there's no audio, so we don't know what was said. But he did have the likes of Waggett in attendance. By looks of it, by looking at it now, I think Broughton was actually there because he's got his back to camera, but there is a bald-headed guy, and obviously Broughton is bald-headed. So it could have been him, it might not have been. But I'm with you on the LinkedIn post. He's saying, "I this and I that." So obviously, it doesn't sound like he's going anywhere anytime soon. But if I'm quite honest, if he's not going anywhere anytime soon, Waggett's not going anywhere anytime soon, and Venky's aren't going anywhere anytime soon, then obviously they must have known they wanted rid of JDT for a good couple of months. But I can't believe that Sky actually announced it before we did. I didn't agree with that because obviously Sky have got a wide range of fans from all over the country, all over the world, Rovers again, but it's specific to Rovers fans. People like, I don't know, like Burnley fans especially, didn't need to know that we've got rid of JDT, did they? So I didn't agree with that Sky put it out before Rovers did, but who am I to say?
Yeah, indeed. And there's just clarity again. There's nothing wrong with being bold out there. No offense to Greg or myself, or maybe even Holmesy. Well, hey, you've still got you got a little bit more than me, but there's not wrong with being bold.
It's going very quickly there, Dirk. It's going.
Yeah. Look at Millie there with a long locks.
With the shaved head look.
I've admitted my loss. But closing comments from you from chaos to, of course, a bit of positivity. But how do you summarize the past 7 or 8, 10 days even?
So firstly, I'm happy with the win, but it's just papering over the cracks. To summarize the last 10 days, I would say absolute disgrace and shambles. Firstly, to lose a transfer, not learning our lessons from 3 months ago, or sorry, from the season before that, where we missed out when we missed out on signings by not putting through the right paperwork, all the way through to just how the club is run and their communication with their fan base, how we hear it through rumours without open communication. Waggett is he's a power unto himself. He seems to think that he is Blackburn from my point of view, and that he can do what he wants without impunity. You've got Broughton there, Greg, who I don't know his position. Yeah, I mean, Dirk, you mentioned it earlier. He's got a few signings in. He managed to get Wharton to sign a new deal. But if you have a staff that is constantly making massive mistakes that can cost the club millions and millions of pounds, then there is a rot within the club. And I think we can't get away from it. I think that something drastically needs to change behind the scenes. Otherwise, we'll continue to paper over the cracks, and we'll be here in a year's time, and we'll be talking the same old story about transfers. We'll be talking the same old story about managers wanting to leave, disconnect between the fans and the club. So unless we actually sort this out, we actually get some communication from the club, and we actually sort out the mess that is the leadership core group at the top, we're not going to be anywhere.
Spot on. There you go. That's, of course, from around that's Rovers' opinion from around the world. We got South Africa, we got the local, we got me stuck in my bedroom, of course. But appreciate you all, of course. Hopefully, positive week, two games in the next 7 days or so. Hopefully, 6 points to be added to this past weekend's 3. Thanks again. Haben's in the house. Appreciate you guys giving up a bit of your Sunday. Hopefully, you can enjoy the rest of the weekend. Super Bowl tonight. Go Niners, of course. Millie, be safe out there. Turn them bloody in-betweeners down. There's too many effing and blinding going on behind you. And, of course, Bafana, well done. Bronze, of course. I'll see you all very, very soon. Keep your eyes on the WhatsApp chat. If you hear any news, let me know. But keep it on the download. Until then, we're out of here. Appreciate it. I'm going to press stop stream now, guys. So we're out.